Yo, we talking about groceries on FBA. Yo, easy. Yeah. J to the O, the Mayos. Groceries on FBA. What you know about that? Step your game up, suck it.
So, hey everybody, welcome. I'm here with Jennifer Dunn from TaxJar, Shawn Mayo, and Valerie, of course. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about collecting sales tax, why you need to collect it, how to get set up, and Jennifer, of course, is going to tell you how TaxJar, is going to help you do that, make things ridiculously easy for a very small fee compared to probably what your sales are. As we were saying before we started, it only costs $19 a month to start, and that's based on how many sales you get. So, it's 19 bucks if you're selling a little bit. Everybody should be able to afford that if you're selling on Amazon. And the more you sell, the more, of course, it's going to cost, because they have to process every single sale that you make. They're looking at the information in the sales, and they're going to go and pull that information out. And in the end, once you set it up, I never log into it, because you're setting it up. And in the beginning, if you want to file your own taxes, you log in, you'll get a notification that it's time to file. You go there, it tells you the exact numbers and what to put on every line, and you do it and pay for it. But they also have services where they can do it automatically, and that's what I do, because I was very bad at that. I do it late. We had a lot going on, still do, of course. So now we use their service to automatically file that. So let's talk about, Jennifer, why do we have to file sales tax? And I guess, what TaxJar actually does to make that easier on everybody.
Okay, sure. Yeah, don't let me ramble here, Shawn. You'll stop me if you've heard all this. So basically, you guys are retailers. Anybody who sells a taxable product is a retailer. So you're required to collect sales tax on those taxable sales in any state where you have nexus. I know sometimes nexus can be a dirty word to people, but I'll just go into a real quick background on nexus. Basically, back in 1992, in the dark ages, before even eBay was around, a Supreme Court case called Quill versus North Dakota sort of set all this into motion. And so what was happening back then is North Dakota said, hey, like Quill Company, you're sending your little catalog into North Dakota, and people are buying pens and pencils and office paper from us. And so we want you to collect sales tax from those people. And Quill said, wait, no, I don't have an employee there. I don't have, inventory in a warehouse there. Why should I have to collect sales tax there? And the Supreme Court, they agreed with Quill. They said, yeah, you're right. So now the law of the land is only if you have some kind of presence in a state do you need to collect sales tax. So of course you live in a state, that's your presence there. Just your body being there. It means your business has sales tax nexus in a state, and that you need to charge sales tax to buyers in that state. But other things that can give you nexus are, say you have an employee or even a contractor who helps with your business in a state. You have inventory in a warehouse, so that's where Amazon comes in. Amazon, they're really, really careful to say in their terms of service that you still own this stuff in our warehouse. We're providing the fulfillment for you, but we're not buying this stuff from you and then selling it under Amazon.com. So that would be why you would need to register for a sales tax permit and collect sales tax in states where you have nexus. Now I'll get into a little more granular detail about that, but that's the main thing.
Now, there's a lot of arguments, and you really have to make your own decisions, because some people, are ready to go out and register in every state. And if you're auto-filing, then, that's great for TaxJar, or there's other companies out there that do it. But, it's great for TaxJar because, you're going to pay them $20, per state to automatically file it. But if you're filing yourself, it really doesn't matter if you're registered in one state or 50. But, you need to do your own research and make your own decision whether you want, whether the decision is if you have a nexus. There's lots of legal battles in lots of different states, whether or not you have nexus in your state. And that's a decision you have to make for your own business. As far as I know, nobody's gone to jail for not registering in a state. So, you know, it's not something you're going to lose your business. You're not going to, you know, go to jail. You know, you're not going to get fined, you know, $100,000 because it's really a gray area, and most states haven't decided. And I mean, there are a couple states that have said that, you know, Amazon doesn't have Nexus. So, you know, you just have to decide. And, you know, the best way you can do that is, you know, TaxJar is going to tell you how they look at it. I'm going to tell you how I look at it. And what we've done is I decided where I thought I had the most amount of Nexus, which would mean where the most amount of my products were. So even if you want to register in every state, I would say look at where you have the most amount of what I would say the most amount of Nexus, which would be the most amount of your products. So, you know, if 90% of your products are going to, you know, be in A3, for example, in Tennessee, if they're going to Tennessee, or, you know, sometimes we have a lot going to Kentucky or Pennsylvania, you know, if 90% of your products are going there, and it's not just a redistribution center, then you probably want to register there first after your state. No matter where you're at, you need to register in your own state first, because you're there, you have product there, you're obviously going to you have to collect sales tax in your own state. And so once you set that up, now the way it works is you set it up and you put the number into Amazon in the tax section, and they're going to start collecting sales tax in that state. So you're only collecting sales tax on items that people buy in that state. So if it's Tennessee, you're only collecting sales tax on, you know, customers who are in Tennessee. You know, so it's where the products go. So you're not all of a sudden collecting sales tax, you know, on people in all 50 states. It's not evenly distributed, obviously, but, you know, we're talking about 1/50th of your sales. So, you know, I'm in Florida, and a vast majority of our sales are actually in Florida. I'd say probably 15 to 20% the last time I looked. So, you know, you can think that smaller states, you know, people in Kansas or something aren't getting, you know, the same amount of distribution. And if you have 50 states, that means it's only 2% if divided evenly. So you're not going to all of a sudden have, you know, a huge tax bill that you have to worry about. You know, so those are a lot of things you have to consider. You know, it's not a huge amount of money. I mean, when we first started out, you know, we'd be paying $8, $10, $12, you know, in taxes, you know, for a month or 3 months. It depends on what the state assigns you. It'll tell you if they want to be paid monthly or quarterly when you register. And it's a very simple process. I was talking about this in my webinar, but last week, but I use this book that I got when I first started. I still actually have the first edition. So it's been updated a lot, but this walks you through, and I think it's like $10. And we'll put the link, Valerie put the link in the chat, but it's Introduction to Sales Tax. It's written by Kat Simpson, and then accountant Michael Rice. Kat Simpson's a Amazon and eBay seller. And it has a ton of great information. It has samples of the forms to fill out. It tells you what to put on every line. And, you know, it's really great and easy. And if you have questions, of course, you can send them to me, and we'll be happy to help you. But, you know, remember, there's 50 different states, and I haven't registered in every one. And if I did it once. So most of them are similar, but every one of those forms are different. And you can get them right on Amazon. So a lot of things to do, but Jennifer, hopefully you can tell us how that all works with TaxJar. What is TaxJar actually doing? You know, if you have to set everything up, you have to enter the information in Amazon. Amazon's collecting the taxes. Explain to us what TaxJar is actually doing then.
Oh, sure. Okay. So first of all, I always tell people you probably need TaxJar if it's taking you longer than about 30 minutes to file your sales tax returns. That means you're getting to a level of complexity where that 30 minutes, I mean, once you're starting to get that busy, time is money, right? So you need to be spending your time doing things that are profitable. Sales tax is administrative. It's not profitable for you. So what TaxJar does is we will connect with your Amazon account, and very importantly, we'll also connect with any other accounts that you sell on. So if you sell on eBay, Shopify, Magento, Ecommerce, all those guys, we'll connect with those as well. And so we pull all your information in, and when your state says, hey, we want a sales tax filing from you, which might be, like Shawn said, monthly, quarterly, annually, then we will provide you with a return-ready sales tax report. So what that does, it just shows you each line, like Shawn was saying, what to put on each line of a sales tax report. Now, maybe you're thinking like, well, why would I need TaxJar for that? It's because most states want you to fill this out based on each taxing jurisdiction in the state. For example, I live in Georgia. Georgia has 159 counties. So that's 159 jurisdictions right there. Then each county has, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities. Those are other jurisdictions. And then we have some special jurisdictions. We might have a special education jurisdiction. That education jurisdiction might encompass 5 cities and 3 counties. We have a transportation jurisdiction. That might encompass 6 or 7 counties. So what the state wants to know is, okay, how much sales tax did you collect from each of your customers in each of these little tiny jurisdictions? They're about 12,000 in the whole country. So that's what TaxJar does, is we're just like, look, put 3 cents in this jurisdiction, put $1.75 in this jurisdiction. So really, if you're taking too long to file your sales tax returns, you'll see that TaxJar provides a great value in that respect. And then also will help you, like say you are selling on Amazon, you're starting to feel like, I'm making a lot of sales, I'm not collecting sales tax. Maybe I need to start doing that. We'll show you where you have sales tax nexus with Amazon. And we'll also show you what we expect you would have collected. So say you're not collecting sales tax yet, well, you can try a 30-day a 30-day TaxJar free trial, and we'll show you how much sales tax you would have collected over that last 60 days. So you're not collecting it all, but we'll show you, oh, you should have collected, $500 in sales tax. That might be a sign that, oh, I better start collecting sales tax. So yeah, we just have all kinds of interesting different things, but our main number one purpose we've been doing for the last 4 years is helping you file your sales tax returns, get rid of all that so you can get back to running your business.
Right, and the other issue is, I think you covered all that, but you covered what it does, but on the other end, if you're doing it yourself, you have to do that research and see, some of the big states like New York, I think they have like 9.5% sales tax. So, it's not 9.5%, it's 9.5% in New York City, but, other counties doesn't have the same tax. So, as you said, cities and counties in different jurisdictions have that, but you have to figure all that out on your own. I mean, nobody tells you, where you're doing it. And some places want you to tell it what county, each thing was collected in. So you're going to have to research that. Amazon doesn't give you that information. So TaxJar is pulling all that out for you. And as we said, Mike, actually my cousin-in-law, I guess, what's going on is they're charging one price for their service. So it doesn't matter if you're pulling it from eBay and Shopify and Amazon. They're only charging you a monthly fee. It's the amount of transactions. So if all those transactions equal more than $1,000 or 1,000 transactions, you're going to go up to the next level, which is what, $49, I believe.
It is.
And that's up to 5,000 transactions, and it just keeps going up from there. Of course, you'll be making more money. You'll be able to, afford to pay more.
Yeah, that answers Michael's question. I was seeing that over there. So thanks. Thanks for the help with that, Shawn.
Okay, I think these are questions that don't apply. All right, so the sales tax is only for your state when you sell from your state. The sales tax is actually based on where the buyer is. So that's the same issue, which doesn't really apply to this, but I get this question a lot: is where does it depend where you're going to use for prep centers? There's prep centers in tax-free states. So if you buy and have the item shipped to a prep center in a tax-free state, you don't have to worry about any of that sales tax. And maybe even, you may be saving money over shipping it to yourself. It's the same situation here. It's wherever the customer is. So if you're the customer, or the customer is there, if they're not in a state you're collecting sales tax, Amazon's not going to collect any sales tax from them. If they're in Illinois, you're in Florida, you have a sales tax number here in Florida, you ship to Illinois, but you're not registered there, you're not going to collect sales tax there. So that's all you have to worry about. And as I said, if you're a beginning seller, if you have 1,000 transactions or a couple thousand, you're not going to be paying a whole lot of money. You figure each state is only 2% of the country, so at the most, it may be a few times that, but it's it doesn't end up being a whole lot of money in the end.
And just to add to that, you should never pay sales tax out of pocket. Sales tax is passed through. So what a sales tax really is a tax on the consumer for consumption of something. So I go and buy this water bottle and I owe, a 6% sales tax on it. And so that's actually should be coming out of my pocket as the buyer. I give it to you, the retailer, but then you send it to the state. So it just passes right through you. That's why it's called a pass-through tax. So you don't want to be paying sales tax out of pocket. The state doesn't want that. TaxJar doesn't want that. You don't want that because that's your profit. You shouldn't be paying sales tax. You should just be collecting it and sending it to the state.
Definitely. That's another big question. If you don't pay it, it's not like you're going to owe money. You're collecting money on behalf of the state. So if you didn't collect it, you may get a fine for not collecting it or paying it late, but they're not going to say, well, we think you were supposed to collect this much. They're not going to take that, money from you or decide that you owe that.
Well, so sometimes they will though. We just saw, and this is just, I'm thinking of Texas because we just saw it. A bunch of people got letters from Texas saying that, hey, you owe $1,500 in Texas. And we're like, that sounds wrong. So we looked at these people's TaxJar accounts, and what had happened is and it was two different women, two different nice ladies. They had said that they had registered for a sales tax permit with Texas, but they said, look, I guess we had Nexus with Texas back in the beginning of the year last year, but they didn't register for their permit until about 10 or 11 months later. So Texas looked and said, oh, so you had Nexus, but you weren't collecting. So they fined them for every quarter. So I think it was a $250 fine for every quarter they didn't pay. And then they just guessed. They sent them a letter and said, we think you probably owe about $1,500. We're going to estimate this is how much you would have collected from your state. And so we were able to hook them up to TaxJar and look and say, no, if you had been collecting at that time, you would have owed about $10. So, these were just, small amount. Maybe it was $20, $30. I don't exactly remember. But so that way we were able to help them. So then they were both able to contact Texas and say, look, yes, I admit, that I wasn't collecting sales tax, but really I only owe you about $20. And so the state was able to work with them. Now it's not always a good scenario like that. Sometimes states are just real pains. Like, unfortunately, Shawn, Florida can be a pain. Yeah.
I've gotten the same thing from Florida. They've estimated, that I owe like $1,200, and you just have to prove that you don't.
Exactly.
Especially if you miss a payment, they'll estimate whatever they feel like.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they'll always fine you that $50. I've heard sometimes people can call them and get a nice person and so if you're 1 day late with your Florida payment, they'll fine you $50 right away, no matter what. But sometimes you can talk them into getting rid of that fee. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they're like, no, you were late. There's nothing you can do about it, even though, you have some kind of extenuating circumstance. So the thing with sales tax too, there's 45 different states with sales tax. There are different, people you can talk to at the state. Some people are going to be nice, some are mean. It's kind of like dealing with any customer service anywhere. And some are more organized. Some, spend a lot of money on their sales tax. Some are like West Virginia, bless their hearts. The other day, they wanted to fax me something. I said, guys, we don't fax anymore. So it's just sort of it's the luck of the draw who you deal with sometimes with sales tax. Oh, Shawn, I think you're muted.
Yeah. So. So the big question is, I've never had this where I was able to choose how often I wanted to pay. I think they will always assign you how often you're going to pay based on what they think your business is doing. Now, we've done so little in some states that they assigned us as a monthly payment, and then they dropped us down to quarterly. So it's not going to be, I get to choose, I guess the question was, how do I choose how much of the frequency to pay, monthly, quarterly, weekly? It's probably going to be monthly. If you don't sell enough, then they'll drop it down to quarterly, and they're going to tell you how often you have to pay. It's not, you're not going to have like a pull down menu saying, when do you want to pay us? So is that what you've seen as well?
Yeah, exactly. Now, and so the Southeast, we're kind of the worst. Yeah, I'm in Georgia, you're in Florida. We're the worst about that. When you sign up for the Southeastern state, we'll make you pay monthly. Some of the other states, like the Northwest and the North, they're a lot nicer. They'll say, hey, how much do you think you're going to make? And you say, I think I'll make, $1,000. And they'll assign you quarterly right off the bat. So once again, you're dealing with 45 different states, 45 different sets of folks. It really depends.
Okay, so there's a question about being from Virginia. You've not collected sales taxes yet. And he says he understands Virginia does not have Nexus 2A. You still need to collect for the state of Virginia. Well, you live in Virginia, so you would have to collect in Virginia. If you lived in Tennessee and you may not have Nexus there, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. But your home state is not Nexus. That's where your business is. If your business is registered there, then that's where your business is taking place. So you do have to register in your home state, no matter what the laws happen with Nexus. You're going to have to collect sales tax somewhere. Yeah.
Unless you live in one of the 5 states without sales tax, then you could be very lucky, So, and Siva, I saw your question there. One thing I want to say, I know what you're probably asking about. Last year, or actually, okay, 2015 now, Virginia came out with a letter ruling. What a letter ruling is, it's like one step below the law in the state. So it means they haven't changed the law yet, but the letter ruling applies. And they said that if you only use a third-party fulfillment service, they didn't say Amazon, but they said, if you only use a third-party fulfillment service in the state and you have no other nexus, so that means no employees, no locations, and so this for you, Siva, would be your location, then you do not have sales tax nexus in Virginia. So we immediately seized on that and told everybody how to cancel your Virginia sales tax permit. And now already Virginia, so it's about a year and 3 months later, I think that was October 2015, Virginia is already now making noise about, not realizing what they had done, and they want to start sales tax nexus. They want third-party sellers to collect sales tax there again, but they haven't issued anything. So that's kind of one thing, like that Virginia thing. It's just sales tax is, there's 45 states. They all have all kinds of different news coming out all the time. So I blog about that and tweet about it from TaxJar. And that's just, if you want to keep track of that, if you're a TaxJar customer, I'll send you a monthly newsletter that's like, hey, these are the things that you need to, look into about tax and nexus. Because that kind of stuff in Virginia, like you live in California, are you really going to notice a little small news item about sales tax nexus in Virginia? Probably not. You're busy. So that's my job, and I take care of all that for you guys, just to kind of look at that stuff and try to curate it for you.
Right. Awesome. So Pedro says he's in Florida. When he registered, they never told him the frequency. They did tell you. It's if you look at that book, it probably sent you a whole year's worth of forms to send in, and it's probably on each one of those when each one is due. But if you registered, you make sure you either log into the website. They have you got some papers as well to how to register on the website. So if you go through that, you go in there. It's always easier to do it online. You can just fill out the form, and you should already have your credit card attached. You just fill it in, and you'll be able to do it every month. I'm pretty sure Florida does monthly for everyone. I know some people got dropped down to quarterly, but you have to sell very little to do that. So, I'm almost positive yours will be monthly, and they will, like we already said, they're going to fine you if you're late one day. So make sure that you log in today and see when it's due, because you might already be late, and you don't want to get even more late, because then they'll start estimating what you owe, especially if you've never paid it, and before you know it, you're going to owe thousands of dollars. I know when we first registered, I think one of our businesses, we didn't pay fast enough, and the business wasn't even started yet, and they sent us a bill for like $1,200 until we proved that we didn't have anything. So nip all that in the bud before you get there, and just go on there, register. Even if it's all zeros, you won't owe anything, but they're not going to start trying to fine you. Okay, so Rosanna registered her LLC in Nevada, and she's a resident of California. Where do I collect sales tax? Also, when I buy products, OA and RA, I pay taxes on the products. Do I get my credit for the sales taxes I paid? So some states will reimburse you. I know that some states won't, or it's extremely hard. So what I would say is, I mean, I would say you have nexus in both states. So wherever your business is registered, you're going to have to pay. You have to register for sales tax there, wherever your business is. But you're there. You're an employee of your business. You obviously have some kind of product or business going on in California as well. So, I mean, I would say that you have nexus in both of those states. Wouldn't you agree, Jennifer? Jennifer is frozen. Okay, there you are. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was a little frozen there, I think, for a minute. Yeah.
So did you hear? So she would have nexus in both California and Nevada.
What I would do is just maybe double check with a CPA about Nevada if all you do in Nevada is have your LLC registered. And the only reason I say that is we just had a case. We use CPA advisors a lot of times. So we had a case we just asked about where someone actually lived in Italy, but they're American and they had registered their LLC in Wyoming and they had a mailbox in Wyoming. And they just owned the mailbox. They weren't even getting mail there. It was something that I don't know what they were doing. And so then our CPA advisor told that person. So this is kind of like I'm giving you their CPA advice. So don't use somebody else's. But they said no, you wouldn't have a nexus in Wyoming if all you have right there is an LLC in a mailbox. So like, okay, but every state's different. Wyoming might say that. Wyoming is a pretty lenient state. California might say, oh, you have a mailbox. Yeah, you totally have nexus here. So just that's one thing I might check with the state. You can also call your state anonymously, which is pretty good because you want to kind of call anonymously if you have anything you might have done something wrong. That way they don't have you in their clutches then. So you can just call and say, hey, look, a friend of mine has a mailbox in this state or whatever, and then ask them a question like that. So yeah, I recommend checking on that. You never know. I mean, if you could get out of not having to collect sales tax in Nevada, you might as well. It's one less administrative hassle in your business.
Right, definitely. Okay. Okay, so Patricia, somebody says how to go back and figure out sales tax for your state. I believe we already covered that. What's the best tax or bookkeeping system? Because my business is online, there's deductions for my home I can take. I mean, we're not really talking about income tax here. So we're talking about collecting sales tax. So, I mean, if you have those kind of questions, you can go ahead and ask me. I think you're in Florida as well, so I can give you our accountant. We have a great accountant who the PhD in accounting. He owns his own firm. He helps probably hundreds of Amazon sellers that I've sent to him. So any Florida questions you can ask. There are deductions for your home, tons of them. You can take part of your basically everything for your home, your phone lines. If you use internet for your business, so part of your internet bill can go to that, part of your phones can go to that, part of your electric, and you're going to get deductions for a portion of your home for your home office. So we're able to take advantage of all that, as well as I have my own warehouse, but I also have a home office, so I'm able to take advantage of both of those because I work from both places. Do I need to collect sales tax if I drop ship from supplier, considering supplier charge me sales tax to ship to buyer? If yes, how much do I need to pay sales tax to state? Could I finish reading the questions before they get deleted? So in that case, you may be able to get reimbursed for what you collect. Obviously, what you paid in sales tax is not the same as what you collect in sales tax. So what you collect is what needs to be sent to the state. What you pay, you may be reimbursed for, but that should be completely separate, because what you collected is not going to be the same thing as what you pay, because you shouldn't be selling for the same price that you're buying from. And then a follow-up from Rosanna. Do I only collect sales tax from buyers in California? So you're going to collect sales tax from the states that you're registered to collect sales tax in. So you're in that state, you have to register in your own state, but you also need to, you're only going to collect sales tax in states that you're registered in. So if you're only registered in one state, that's only the sales in that state are going to be collected on. All right. Okay, you're still there. All right. I don't know. You keep freezing up. What if you made no sales in your own state, therefore did not collect any sales tax? Do you still need to file a form with your state? Yes. You have to file every time it's due, if it's monthly or quarterly, or they're going to think, you're going to get a fine for being late. And I'm sure most states have fines for, it's basically a late fee. So you have to file on time, even if it's zero. And if it's your home state or not, it doesn't matter. Anywhere you're registered, that's going to apply. Yes, you would put zeros in for the number. And if you're using TaxJar, they're going to tell you what you should be putting in on all of those lines.
And don't use TaxJar autofile for a zero return, because that's basically you would be paying us $19.95 to file zero for you. So if that happens, like maybe you take the summer off or something like that, then just let us know, hey, don't autofile for me, and we won't. That way we don't want, if we have somebody come through autofile and they don't owe anything, we'll tell you like we're not going to do this because we're not going to pay you. We're not going to charge you $19 not to file, unless you just want us to. Like maybe you're, super wealthy and you just, want us to take care of it. You just don't even want to look at it. So that's just the little pro tip from TaxJar there.
Yeah, I don't want to look at it.
Yeah, and Shawn don't want to look at it. So he's like, yeah, fine, file it. I don't care.
I mean, we sell plenty, to cover that stuff. So, I don't think we ever have zero tax returns. But again, if you're very busy, if you're doing this as a side job and, you have a regular career, it may be still in your best interest to pay them the $20. And it's per filing. So if you have to be paying quarterly, you're only paying the $20 a quarter. It's not $20 a month. That's still how it is, right?
Yep, per filing. Yep.
$20 a filing. So you only get charged per filing. So if it's a quarter, you're only going to be paying the $20 every quarter. So there's also that. You missed Jennifer's explanation earlier of Nexus. I can probably say. TaxJar needs to offer a lower cost subscription. For those that sell eBay only. I think $19 a month is, very reasonable. I understand you only have tax nexus in one state. So I'm not really sure. I haven't sold on eBay in years, so I'm not sure how complicated that is, but I saw that PayPal had basically a report you could do that with. And I mean, you may not need, this may not be for everybody. TaxJar. So, if $19 is too much, then maybe you just want to do it yourself.
And we do have lots of free educational resources. So even if you're like, hey, $19, I don't want to spend it, or maybe I'm on hiatus, or I'm just not making that much yet, just check out our blog, our different resources. You can still email us at support and we'll point you in the right direction. If you're not ready for TaxJar yet, we want you to grow until you are ready for TaxJar. Because if you're ready for TaxJar, that means you're really doing well. You're profitable.
Right. Aaron wanted to know if TaxJar offers a service to register with states you have Nexus in. They'll tell you what states that you have Nexus in, but I believe you have to actually fill in and apply yourself.
Oh, we do recommend, we have a couple of CPA firms that we recommend. Now, those are usually about $80 per registration. So we also have blog posts. They'll tell you how to do it yourself. So once again, it depends on your time and your attention. If you want to spend the time to register, then do it yourself. If you want to outsource that for about $80, we'll send you to a couple of really good CPA firms.
Yeah, it's really not that complicated. I mean, it's the same with setting up a business. You know, I don't know why anyone would pay somebody to do an LLC. You basically are just giving them your information. So if you hire somebody, you're going to have to give them the information, and they're going to go over to the state site and they're going to copy and paste it into the form to apply. You know, like I said, buy the book, get the book for $10. It'll show you exactly what to put on every line. And, you know, but if you can't figure it out, I guess, you know, there are companies that will do that. I'm in Michigan. I have Nexus in other states because of Amazon warehouses. I also sell on eBay. I need to collect taxes in those states on eBay sales because of Amazon Nexus. Correct. Does TaxJar take this into consideration?
Yes. So we'll integrate with your eBay account, which is actually PayPal. We integrate with PayPal and Amazon. So the report that we spit out for you to file, it includes all of that. So you could, you know, sell on 10 different platforms and we will include all of that on your report. I mean, that's, you know, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't really save you that much time. So yeah, we definitely do.
Do you have a list, or can you tell us what platforms you do cover? Do you do Etsy?
I do. Here, let me try to do it off the top of my head. Amazon, BigCommerce, eBay, Etsy, WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify, Ecwid, Stripe, if you sell Stripe through Stripe orders, which is kind of a developer-y thing. And then also say you know, maybe you're a developer out there and you've written your own shopping cart. We have an API that you can plug into and use us that way as well. One thing people are asking about lately is Walmart. So we don't connect with Walmart yet, but you guys, if you want us to, email us at support@taxjar.com. Get your name on that list, because the more people we have on the list, the faster we'll be able to get that integrated. I've got to get buy-in from my developers to say, look, guys, I need you to stop doing all this other stuff and go work on Walmart. So yeah, that would be great.
Definitely. We have a lot of clients that are signing up with Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart's really growing. They started coming after people, it sounds like, starting asking people to come sell.
Yeah,
so,
they're contacting sellers. Okay. Could you share, could you put in the chat the link to the blog for TaxJar?
Sure. It's just blog.taxjar.com. Oh, for some reason it's saying I can't. Hang on, let me try this. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, and if you want to sign up for TaxJar, if you want to try it out, I do have our link there. Just go to taxjar.shawnmayo.com. You can sign up. You can see all the information there. As we said, it's $19, and it's another $20 if you want them to auto file for you, which I suggest, you know, you do it on your own. And as far as registering, there's another big question. One of the reasons we did this free webinar is to you know, a lot of people want to know, you know, I don't want people to go out and register for like 10 different states, you know, at the same time. You know, that's just usually not a good idea. So what I suggest is, if you're not registered anywhere, of course, register in your home state, get that set up, get it added to TaxJar, and then start like we did and register where you think it's going to be the most impactful, where you think you need it most. And just do one at a time. You don't want to get, you know, the information from, you know, 10 different states coming back to you at the same time. You know, numbers get transposed. You're collecting sales tax for somebody else, and you're not getting credited for anything, or, you know, a million things could go wrong with that. So I suggest you do one, get it all set up. It's pretty simple. It should only take a couple days, and then go and register the next one and continue on as far as you think you need it. What about like back information? How far back does TaxJar go, or is it just from the day you register, or how does that work?
Perfect. Yes, that's a good question. So on the 30-day free trial, we just pull in your past 60 days of data. That way you can just have a look around. Now, if you become a subscriber, if you became a subscriber today, we would pull in all of 2016. And if you needed to go back farther, it's just $25 per year that you want to go back. We'll go back as far as you have data. So if you say in 2006, we will pull that back as far as we can from PayPal. Now, PayPal sometimes can be a little bit of a pain, but like Amazon, for example, we could pull back to 2012, 2009, whenever you started filing. So yeah, we'll pull in as much historical data as we can for you.
Awesome. And you said, sorry, some of that cut out for me. Once you are a paid subscriber, you can go back to the beginning of 2016?
Yep, and that's just part of your subscription.
Okay.
And then $25 per year for any prior years.
Awesome. Okay, I don't know. Are we all caught up on all the questions people had? Did you?
I think so. If we missed anyone's questions, just post it in the Q&A. But I think that we. And Jennifer, did you had a little bit of a presentation as well, things that you wanted to cover, or?
You know what? We covered most of it. Shawn's had really insightful questions. I don't want to go back over anything. I did put a link there for John about Nexus. I know he had missed it. So I put a blog post, and that's probably even better. It goes into a lot more depth than I did, probably more depth than anybody here wants to right now. So you can go check that out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend everybody try out the trial. It's free, of course, so you can pull in all your information. Even if you're not registered, you can see what you, I guess, should have been paying. And if you try it out on your own, you'll see it's no matter how few sales you have, I don't think it's worth doing on your own. It's just a horrible system that Amazon set up to do this.
It really is.
Okay, so Kathleen, Kathleen, it's $19 a month up to 1,000 listings. Of course, the first month is free to try it out, and then it's $19.95 per auto file per time that it files. But you don't have to do the auto files. What will happen is you get a notification when it's time to file. You log into your TaxJar account, go look at that state, and it will show you what to put in the lines for that state. So you log into TaxJar, you log into the state, you do your filing, and then we just used to click back and forth and copy the numbers. It says you owe this much on this line, this much on this line. I assume it still does that. I mean, we do the auto files now, so it's pretty much the same system. So you just basically have to copy and paste it where it tells you to. If you have that time, if the $20 is more important than the few minutes it takes to do that, then don't use autofile. We just had so much going on that it wasn't worth it. And once you get to a certain point, $20 against that is not going to be worth the trouble to remember to do that every month, or it's probably going to be every month when you get to that point. So the auto file is definitely not something required. It's just something that was, very much requested, and, something that I really wanted, because we just never would get to it. There's just so much stuff going on with all of our businesses. And did you had a coupon code for something, Jennifer, or?
Yeah, let me know. Okay, so you can jot this down, because when you sign up for your TaxJar free trial, we don't ask for a credit card. So there's really no place to put in the coupon code until you decide you want to subscribe. But when you do decide to subscribe to TaxJar, if you want to subscribe for the annual plan, which that's 10% off that night. So it's $19 a month. You pay for the whole year, but it's 10% off. Just for coming to this webinar, if you use coupon code MASTERMIND in all capital letters, you can get an extra 10% off for a year. So it's 20% off for an annual plan. And I should have had those numbers ready so I could tell you the difference. But you can check out TaxJar pricing, and you can look and see what the annual plan costs.
Okay, so Mike and Amber wanted to know if it calculates business expenses, or you could file personal taxes with this. This is just for collecting sales tax. This has nothing to do with any of your business expenses. This is going to be the taxes that you're supposed to collect from the consumer that would be passed on to the state. So if you're not collecting them, you probably don't owe them, depending on the state. But You know, this has nothing to do with income tax. There's sales tax, and then there's income tax. This is just the sales taxes that you're supposed to collect. 3,000 transactions a month, yes, is $49. And I think we're done with all the questions. Did you have any other questions, Valerie? We've already been chatting for an hour, I see. So,
yeah, no, I think you're good. You're all caught up.
okay, so did you have anything else to add, Jennifer, that people need to know?
Just that a lot of sales tax filing due dates are coming up here on January 20th or either January 25th or 31st. So it's kind of this last bit of January. So if you end up with any questions about your sales tax, you can sign up for TaxJar, or you can just email us at support@taxjar.com. We'll help you as best we can. Like I said, we want to take the burden of sales tax away from you guys so you can get back to making money and making a profit.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, that's what all of these third-party programs do that we talk about and do webinars. And, you don't need anything but Amazon to sell on Amazon. So, if your time is more important than the few dollars these services cost, then, it's not necessary. You can, it's physically possible to do this. But, I think this is probably the most important tool that we use. Of course, you don't want to owe sales tax and start getting all those big fines. So, I mean, I love Scan Power and Tactical Arbitrage, and I mean, they make us a ton of money, but if I didn't have them, and before I had them, I was still able to sell on Amazon, and it was easy. But without TaxJar, I mean, it just makes your life horrible. Just go try it out, because if you're not using it, then you're probably not collecting sales tax, and it's really a lot of trouble. Amazon didn't make it very easy, and you'll see that when you start collecting sales tax. So the annual plans come out to $17 a month, billed annually for the basic, $44 a month for the plus, which would be the 5,000, and $89 a month for the premium. And how much is the premium? 10,000
transactions per month.
Okay, and that's still, even if you pay by the year, it's still that many transactions a month, and it goes by transactions. So let's say, okay, so you get 10% off basically for paying by the year, and then you can get an extra 10% off by using the code Mastermind. So it makes it a total of 20% off. But so if people sign up now, I would think if you're just starting your business now and you're at the 1,000 transactions, what happens when you, let's say, exceed that? And if you're either on a monthly or, if you're on the yearly plan, what happens?
Oh, it's a great question. So what we do is, say you do exceed that, maybe just 1 month. Maybe you sell beach balls, and all of a sudden July is just a giant month for you. You usually have 1,000 transactions, but now you have 10,000. Only that month, we will bill you a little extra up to the 10,000 plan. But the next month, say you're back to your normal 1,000 transactions, then your plan goes back down. So we will never, I'm sure you may have used services like this that will, one time you kind of exceed their plan. They're like, well, we're moving you to a new plan. Now every month you're paying $99. We don't do that. That's just against what we do. We send everybody, that starts with TaxJar, we tell them, look, you choose your plan. If you think you're going to make fewer than 5,000 transactions every month, then you choose that basic plan. And if you exceed that, we will bill you for that 1 month, but then we'll take you right back down to where you need to be. And if you are on the annual plan, the same thing. You may have already paid annually. We might bill you, that extra 40, 50 bucks, whatever it's going to be for that, just for that month. And then you'll go back down to
it's going to be based on the annual plan price that you paid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So really, there's no reason for anybody ever to get more than the basic plan.
Well, yeah, unless though if you're going to So yeah, if you always are going to have more than $5,000 in the plan, I would definitely just go ahead and get that plan. But if you go below though, then we'll drop you down. Yeah, we keep track of you pretty good.
Okay, that's kind of creepy. Great.
We really do. No, I'm joking. But yeah, we do. We'll never overbill you.
Okay, so Lisa wanted to know if there's a tutorial on how to set up Seller Central, and you have like a free PDF guide on how to set up your taxes. That's once you register, how to enter the information. So you still have to register in your state. Of course, as we said, every state is different. So, you got 45 different states, for probably 45 different, the forms look completely different. So once you get your number, you do have a free guide that Jennifer's posting the link to. So FBASalestax.com will take you through that. What is having Nexus in other states because of Amazon warehouses? So everybody's going to get a replay of this within probably a couple days, so you can watch this webinar again if you missed something. But according to the gray areas of the law, it means that if you have physical product or employees physically there or some kind of business presence, then you may have Nexus in that state. So you need to decide on your own if having stuff in Amazon warehouses means you have Nexus. If you have 2 items, in a state, then maybe not. But, if you have a good majority of your stuff going to, those big warehouses, Tennessee, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, most of ours goes to, some to California, then you probably have Nexus there. Okay, so
the next one I'm assuming is that one on already. I'm assuming that's for that discount if it applies to people who already.
Right. So yeah, the discounts are only if you're a new account, right, Jennifer?
Yes, they are.
But if you pay by annually, you're still going to get 10% off if you're paying monthly. So you can get that discount at any point, and it's going to continue on forever. Does the free period include all the platforms we sell on? Yes, you can import from everything. It's basically to try the whole system out. The only thing that it's not going to do is, give you a ton of history. It goes back 60 days. So if you want, years worth of history, then you're actually going to have to pay for it. But you'll be able to try out everything, all the features, and see your history for the last 2 months. So Robert says he's been selling on Amazon since September of 2016. Amazon has set up Nexus in a few states and began collecting sales tax since October. I have not yet set up any way to pay the tax to the respective states. Will I be fined for not forwarding the tax already collected? You haven't collected any tax until you enter your tax number in the tax form in Seller Central. They don't collect sales tax on your behalf. So if you may have read that they now started collecting sales tax. I think Illinois or Wisconsin was one of those states they just started last year. I know there was quite a few, because as soon as they build a warehouse there, they say that they're going to collect sales tax. But Amazon's collecting sales tax on the items that they're selling. You will not collect sales tax until you enter your tax number, because it's all going to be attached to that tax number. Yes, I covered that one. Good. Okay. What does that mean by transaction? The amount of sales I did, or the amount of sales tax I collected? Transactions are each sale, so it's the number of sales. If you're doing under 1,000 sales in all of the connected platforms, if you only connect to Amazon, there'll be less than 1,000 sales on Amazon. If it's multiple platforms like eBay, Etsy, or Shopify, that's going to count all of those different ones in the total. Should you apply for your tax permit before you start the trial? You actually don't have to, because once you connect your platforms, it's going to go and it's going to show you how much you should be collecting. But it really surprises me a lot when I see how many people who don't have a sales tax ID. I mean, when you create a business, that's like the first thing that I would think to do. You register your LLC or corporation or whatever kind of business it is, and you get your sales tax ID. I mean, that's what, you know, I've done with every business I've ever had. You know, I'm always surprised when people aren't registered with sales tax in their own state. But you know, you don't have to. You can get your you can get it today. Sign up for TaxJar, and you're going to see how much you should have been collecting, because it's going to look at all those sales where they were at, and it's going to tell you how much, if you were registered, you would have owed. And then, of course, after registering in your own state, you can see what it is for all those other states. Okay. Okay, so I think that's about it. We're already after the hour point. Any more questions, you can just you can send me a message on Facebook or Valerie, or you can email support@TaxJar. You can sign up for your free 30-day trial just go to taxjar.shawnmayo.com. And don't forget to write down if you're going to do the year plan, or if you plan to use Mastermind, and you're going to get an additional 10% off of the year. So it'll be a 20% discount over paying. So that's $4. So that's like $15, almost a little over $15 a month. So, you know, that's a great deal. $19 is a great deal, I think. But if you're on the starter plan, you know, it's really a great discount. All right, we're going to wrap it up now. Any other questions, just feel free to contact us. Thanks for joining us, Jennifer, and we'll see you guys next time.